after a while.
What is the smoking?
Yeah, then I went to vape, and then I started coughing up the fucking metal in my chest, like I could feel that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And now I'm just edibles now.
Nobody cured it right, man.
Huh?
Nobody cured it right, though.
I just could have had some bunk ass vape pen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah, the vape. So yeah. The vape do that. Yeah.
Trust me. Even like, and okay, let's get it started.
yeah,
Like,
let's do it.
and you know,
Hey, Tiff, we get this right here quick? Yeah, just pass it to him. It's all good. Just
You know-
little clips, man. You ain't got to do the whole shit.
it's funny because we're having like a little bit of like a 420 conversation, and you're coming from out of town from Oakland,
Yeah.
right? And I know over in California they've legalized it to a degree as far as for like medical consumption and different things like that.
It's rec now.
Is recreational?
Yeah.
Okay,
Now.
okay. Right? And for the people who are in the listening audience who are hearing like this baritone voice just come in as well. You know what I'm saying? I want to call this like the legendary hour, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm with it.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we like to preview a lot of young up and coming rappers with our channel and our network, but we also touch upon different legends in the game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For example, we had an interview not too long ago with Maestro Fresh West
Okay.
a few months back.
Yeah.
You know, definitely a Canadian legend. Dizzy Wright,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, representing Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And for you representing Oakland.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And you're out here for a show.
Yep.
So with no further ado, just so that people know who I'm speaking with, we got Zion I in the building, but specifically Baba Zumbi.
Yeah.
Trying to go corporate, awkward. Better your best to just cork it. Put a top into your bop and stop him. Rock too limited, might just drown in it.
From Zion I.
Yeah, MC.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So can we get into that first before we even start?
Let's do it, man. What you want to do?
Because I know from my research, as well as like from listening back in the days, Zion I was a two-man group, right? It was you and
Amp Live.
Amp Live, right? The DJ, producer,
Yeah.
right? And then you guys continued as just you as Zion I.
Yeah.
So do a lot of people not know that you're
Zumbi?
Yeah, Zumbi.
Nah, well, I mean, it's an interesting thing because when we first started Zion I, which was like, it was 1996 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where we went to school. My MC name was Zion I. And then we were trying to figure out a name let's go back a little further. Before that, we had a group called, this is funny, it was called The Roots.
Okay.
Before we knew about The Roots from Philly. And then our homegirl from Philly bought a little tape and said Organics, The Roots. And we was like, what the fuck is that?
Wow.
And then we looked at it and we listened to it. We were like, oh, damn, these motherfuckers is dope too.
Yeah.
So we changed the name to Metaphor. We got signed to Tommy Boy. There was 3 MCs and Amp Live was the producer. And that was like, that was like 93 we got signed. And then we dropped off the label 95. The music, I mean, we got fucked by the music industry shit. Like
As everybody does.
You know what I'm saying? We were young. We were just trying to be artistic. And then there was like, yo, do this, do this. So we started making a bunch of bullshit music. We got dropped off the label. 2 of the dudes kind of went their separate ways.
Yeah.
And me and Amp stayed together. Out of that, that's where Zion I formed. And that was my MC name after their group ended. And then we were trying to figure out a name. And Amp was like, let's use Zion I.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's my name. And he's like, yeah, but just drop off the I. And then the I will be the group.
Right.
And then you can still be Zion. So I was like, cool. So
Yeah.
my name was Zion up until about 2005 when I changed it to Zumbi.
Okay.
So I could do solo projects because Amp was doing mad solo shit. And every time I did something, everybody's like, no, you can't do nothing. You got to stay with the group.
Yeah.
So it was just my way of trying to like create some freedom for myself, some space.
Yeah.
So in 2015, basically, we just started growing apart, man, as I think mostly as homies, but also he was going through something personal that I didn't really know about at the time. So I was taking it like, I was reading it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And so at the top of 2015, he was like, I'm not going to rock no more. And I was like, cool. I was like, I'm just going to keep pushing. He was like, it's all good. So he left in 2015. I've been holding it steady. It was definitely a transition period because people was like, "Yo, what's up with where's Amp at? I'm not, I like
What's
the old
going on with
beats." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I think then people got kind of used to just the new flow. And now it's funny you ask because now this fall he and I are supposed to reunite.
Okay.
For like a reunion tour. So you know what I'm saying. I started talking to him again last summer.
Dope.
It was all good. So, you know what I'm saying? I've been through some personal thing, like similar things that he went through back then, I just went through. So now I have greater perspective on what I was feeling from our interaction. You know what I'm saying?
With being signed and stuff like that at the time, was there like any issues with the name transition? Like with the name being from a group to just being to you after?
Nah, I mean, I talked to my lawyer. We had the same lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, yo, you got to do all this. And, you got to hire me. And I was just like,
The lawyer was saying that?
The lawyer was saying that.
Wow.
He's like, you got to protect yourself. And I was like, and I talked to another lawyer, and he was like, well, I don't really see a case for it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Especially if he gave you the word. And like, you know what I'm saying? Underneath it all, we still brothers though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still respect him as a man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he does. We came up together, man. I know his whole family. He know my whole family. He stayed at my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
I know his grandparents. You know what I'm saying? So it's
And
like,
you guys been releasing music since 2000.
yeah.
Verbs and word curve, slip, style mellow. Zion, the lion-hearted fellow, bellow, finger pain. You can
Yeah, but we met in like 91.
Yeah.
So it's been a long, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a long trajectory of time. So, I mean, underneath it all, it's all good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's not too much. There's no friction really.
You know, it rarely happens with groups in hip hop that they last the whole way through. Like Tribe at one point, rest in peace, Phife Dawg.
Right.
They had their separation before they had their reunion tour.
Yeah.
The only group that I could ever see that's ever lasted all the way through would maybe be the Locks.
De La.
And De La. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now at this point in my career, I look at them and I'm like, how the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I was
yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
I was thinking I was one of the dudes that was gonna stick. And then I'm gonna tell you, man, when I watched that Tribe documentary, this was when Amp and I was kind of going this way, and I watched it and I was like, that looked like us. I remember thinking that, and I was like, there's a reason I'm watching this. It looked like us. Like, how do we? But I couldn't really. I don't know.
Yeah, you couldn't stop it.
I could see it coming though.
Yeah.
But I you know what I'm saying? And it was the same shit Phife and Tip was dealing with. It was a very similar vibe. You know what I mean?
Even when you guys started making music, I feel like when I started hearing about y'all came from that lineage of like Hyro, freestyle fellowship.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I look at Oakland as two different styles of hip hop. Okay?
What would those be? I'm curious.
You got like the pimped out guys, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's lyrical. You know what I'm saying? So there's not like non-lyrical and lyrical guys, because I feel like some people will put the guys who are more gangster in a category that they're not lyrical. But E40 is lyrical as fuck.
Yeah, true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you got the guys who might not be pushing that line as much as the gangster shit, but they're really musical and lyrical.
Art type dudes.
Yeah. And then that's where you start getting like Souls of Mischief and those different types of guys, where you start seeing the diversity in y'all area.
Yeah.
So for somebody outside, explain what Oakland would be, explain Oakland to somebody like me, a Torontonian.
Okay. I mean, Oakland would be, I feel like the architects of the sound are like Too Short, 40. Tupac.
Yeah.
He spent time in Oakland and got enriched out there. And then there's a lot, to me right now, there's more of that vibe going. Like, there's more of the street essence coming through the music.
Yeah.
Like the newer cats like SOB, RBE. One of the OGs was the Jacka. He died. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
But he was a dude who I really fuck with because he balanced the sides to me. Because he was like, he had this art type flow.
Okay.
But his content was gangster, but it was also, he was Muslim, so it was very spiritual at the same time.
Yeah.
So like he had a nice blend to the shit. Another dude who I think is really good representative of the Bay is Locksmith.
Okay.
Who's like super lyrical, but he comes from the battle scene. But he also kind of leans streets, but not as much.
Yeah.
But he kind of leans on it a little bit, but he's really more of a lyrical giant. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he pushes it. On the other side, you got cats like, you know, Zion I and like Mystic Journeyman and Grouch and Hieroglyphics and Quantum Crew.
Yeah.
Gift of Gab, Black Alicious, all them, which is more just like coming from the abstract poetry, more like the native tongues type of aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Like consciousness.
So not to interrupt you, but why did that happen? Because with Oakland being that melting pot, how do you get where like some of you guys are into this type of hip hop or like lean into this is what you talk about when you decide to start rapping, and then other guys lean into that, you know, like how do those worlds become separated, or do they intertwine and then just some guys are just, I'm just not on that shit? I
think they intertwine with some groups. There's like, you know, Pilo, producer,
I've heard of
MC.
Yeah.
He has like a Bay thing, but he kind of like his whole clique, like Heartbreak Kids, HBK. They kind of were to me, they were kind of in the middle of it, because they kind of were like party, you know, like women, all that. But the sound was super Bay, but they were rapping though. They were like super lyrical. Okay. So it was kind of like a nice hybrid of the scene. Yeah. I'm not really sure why it ended up like that. I just remember back in the day with just California in general, like. Because I went to school on the East Coast in Atlanta. Even though it's the South, it's the East Coast. Yeah, definitely. But I remember going out there and fools was like, where you from? I was like, Oakland. It was like, why you rap like that? And I was like, what do you mean? Like
they're expecting Ice Cube and all that type of shit.
They were expecting like Ice-T, not even Ice Cube, because Ice Cube was mad lyrical. You know what I'm saying? They were expecting like, kind of like this country type of, I don't know, man.
They were expecting a Los Angeles style.
That's how people read California. Like they feel like it's a big state.
It's one monolith.
It's one big thing. It's the third biggest state in the country. So the South is very different than the North, but there are shared things, of course. But the Bay Area definitely has its own shit. But I just think some cats kind of looked at the East Coast MCs and kind of like off the consciousness vibe of like, you know what I'm saying? Because Oakland is home of the Black Panthers. At the same time, there's mad social and political movements there. Even though right now, the shit is gentrified like a motherfucker. So it's kind of sucking the blood out of that energy in my perception. But there's definitely like a lean, even like with Tupac, if you listen to his music, he's super political. He's talking about Asada Shakur and like revolution is like very present theme. So that was that. There's that side of Oakland, and then you have.
I never thought about it that way.
The pimping shit. Like if you look at the Mac and all them old movies, that shit was based in Oakland. All that pimp shit, like it's still active in Oakland right now. The strip. And so you have that too, and so both of these things have always existed side by side. Like the pimp culture and the Black Panther. They was there the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of still has that vibe. Like that still persists.
Tell me about HiFi.
HiFi?
Yeah.
HiFi, I feel like was the Bay Area's response to Crunk, which was like, you know, Lil Jon, super hyped up. Yeah. And the first time I saw it was like maybe 2002. I was at this little club in Berkeley. Okay. And all these teenage kids, like they started doing a song and the whole crowd got on stage and they was just, And I was like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Because it was hella dudes dancing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what is that? And it was really just HiFi. It comes from the term in Oakland, which is if somebody HiFi, you want to back away. That means they about to get active. It's about to go down. Nah, somebody's about to get shot or somebody about to get jumped or socked in the mouth. That's what HiFi really means. Okay. Like, oh, he HiFi. It means like when you turn up all of a sudden you start flashing. That's what HiFi means. That's where it comes from. So when the music, it embodied that. It was just like, but it was more about HiFi turn up the party instead of like, I'm gonna bust you in the mouth. It's more like we're gonna have fun with it. So Mac Dre was an architect of that. Or he helped develop it and like push it forward. And it was sad though, man, to be honest with you with HiFi, because I feel like that was the first time in years that the Bay Area had any real light on it, right? And E40 and Too Short kind of like already had their thing and they pushed it forward. All the younger artists underneath it, like Mr. Fab, Keek the Sneak, hella food, but they didn't really seem to benefit from it because as soon as it got popular, we're like, tell me when to go and all that shit. And then the label started coming, a couple people got grabbed, and then like the Bay Area was like, nah, fuck HiFi's dead. And it was like, how's it dead when you was just on it though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like as soon as it got some light, people wanted to kill it and start something new because it was like, and it's, I'm not gonna say it's crabs in a barrel, but I feel like in life, man, it's hard for a lot of us to deal with success sometimes.
Yeah.
When you see something shine and you want to hate on it because it's not you. Maybe it's your brother, your cousin, but it ain't you. And since it's not you, you don't like it no more. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we doing this now.
Yeah. So you feel that's kind of part of the reason why Oakland has never been the main focal point when it comes to California? Because like I feel like it's had its times, like you just mentioned, when Tell Me When to Go came out, everybody was like, oh shit, Oakland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember in '93 when Souls of Mischief came out and on Casual and all, and everybody was dropping. I was like, oh shit, Oakland, because my prior history or my prior knowledge of West Coast hip hop was just all Los Angeles gangbanger bass.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I mean, LA.
So I didn't even know that y'all were out there.
Put it on the microphone, quite a long way from home. Hit a enter in a cipher, echo out, and I'm gone.
I feel you, but like LA's hard to compete with. It's like the major media capital of almost like North America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as America, at least, it's LA's the spot. So we only, 6-hour drive away, an hour flight.
That's it, eh?
Yes, and we're a much smaller market too, man. Like Southern California is way bigger than Northern Cal. I mean, like the Bay Area. LA is like 3 times the size of the Bay. You know what I'm saying? Like literally just in population alone, maybe more than that. So it's just a smaller spot. But the thing about Oakland is there's a very unique regional flavor that even sometimes LA can't fuck with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, at least in the past, spots like St. Louis and Kansas City would almost vibe more with Oakland or Bay Area shit than LA would sometimes. Now it's a little different. It's opened up a little more. Yeah. But you know what I mean?
So you also mentioned like there's gentrification going on over there.
Man, it's crazy.
So I know of over here, we're dealing with the effects of gentrification like crazy, right? There's like displacement of people from hoods like into different hoods, which are causing different beefs and stuff like that. And then, just like in one way it's making the areas better, but in other ways the displacement, like is that the same thing kind of going on over there with y'all?
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, with us, it's like, it's bad, man. It really, when you talk about it, it really breaks my heart because, I mean, you see motherfuckers in the street like it's a regular thing now. You see people living in tents and living out of like cars. They got like a car put over on the side of the road, then there's a grill behind it. So it's like, all right, you at one point you had something, you know what I'm saying? And they just lived there. And there's literally tent cities have been erected across the city. Not just Oakland, man. It's up and down the West Coast.
Really,
It's all the way from San Diego up to Seattle.
That's crazy.
But I live in the Bay, so I see it mostly there.
Yeah.
But it's to the point where, man, I took my son, my boy Etef, he had us out of San Francisco at this event at the Fine Arts Museum in San Francisco. Really nice area on the water, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I took my kids with me. We kicked it. We chilled with him. And we were driving home. And my middle son was like, wow, this is a nice area, Dad. There's no homeless here. He's 5 years old. And I was like, damn, you so used to seeing homeless people back where we live.
That's the thing when you don't see it.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, you drive down the street and you see all these cars lined up on the side of the road. And if you're not, if your eye's not trained, you're just like, oh, people just, then you
it's
look
just part
again,
of the
it's
background.
like, this motherfucking car been there 2 weeks. Like, they live there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a regular ass thing. And it hurts, man, because Oakland is like, it's like the 3rd most diverse city in the country.
Okay.
Or it was. Now with all this tech shit, San Francisco became the hub of the tech movement with all the computer shit.
Yeah.
And San Francisco got so expensive that about 2013, 14, it started to run over into Oakland. Everybody was scared to live in Oakland prior to that because that's where all the people of color live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had a house in West Oakland I bought in 2007, and around 2009, I started noticing all these families moving in. And like, there's a lot of white folks in groups with dogs walking around the neighborhood because it was edgy. It was edgy. It's still edgy, but now they have their planted there now. You know what I'm saying? So you see like West Oakland was the hood where the Black Panthers started, man. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was the heart of the black community in Oakland at one point.
Yeah.
Now they're planting their flags and they coming through.
There's a Starbucks.
You already, like, bro, it's not even Starbucks. They got one spot I went to. It was
no, just the Starbucks, but
yeah, whatever. I don't even drink coffee, but yo, they had it was an all white coffee shop. Like, literally, all the walls was white, no art.
Yeah.
Everybody in there was white, and the motherfucking coffee was like $8 for a cup of coffee in the middle of the hood, though.
That's crazy.
In the middle of the hood, it was like it's like this stark contrast where it's like, this shit is surreal.
They know nobody from the hood ain't going in there to buy no motherfucking $8
it's on purpose.
coffee.
But I'm like, yo, if you're gonna come in, at least employ the kids that live in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, make it so it's like you're welcome in your own fucking city.
Yeah.
It's so bad in Oakland, man, that I read an article where this dude was like, lived in this neighborhood 40 years and he used to run every morning. Mm-hmm. And the white people started calling the cops on him so much for jogging through his own neighborhood.
That's crazy.
That he stopped jogging. Now, he been there. They just moved in. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the part that fucks me up about gentrification. It's not the new restaurants. It's not the little clubs, the beer gardens and all that shit.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that when you look in, it's like, why ain't no Asians, Mexicans, or black people in there? Mm-hmm. None, no. Feel me? Oakland is super diverse. Yeah. Every other person is of color. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, when you look in there, you be like, yo, we not welcome in our own city? That's where the antagonism comes from. And
it's like drawing the white line.
And that's why, man, for
crazy.
Let me see.
Wow.
It's fucked up. And that's why a couple years ago, people were getting like these cameras in here, like people were trying to shoot videos in West Oakland or downtown Oakland, and motherfuckers was getting got left and right.
Really?
This was like 2-3 years ago. Even I was shooting a video in my old neighborhood, and they robbed the camera. It was a red camera, about $80,000-$90,000.
Wow.
Hopped out the car, put it to the cameraman. He took the fucking camera. It was gone. That was a thing. Like, and it creates this antagonism because you're seeing people on the street. You seeing like your neighborhood you can't even afford to live in it no more. Mm-hmm. And then you still ain't got shit. And then these corny motherfuckers is coming in and just like whoop doo 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 and calling the police on you. You remember? You ever heard of Backyard Becky?
Yeah.
That was in Oakland.
Oh yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not Bay Code, because the white folks that live in Oakland are laid back and chill because they used to being around everybody.
Yeah, they grew up around the environment.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's these new people coming in trying to establish these borders, and it's just,
that's crazy.
It's not cool, man.
Wow. Yo, okay. Because like, I want to, we could do like these regular, music interviews and stuff like that, but I like to get into different conversations about stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I do want to touch on some music stuff, right? For example, Mind Over Matter, you're on your 20-year anniversary of that album, or you're coming up on a 20-year anniversary in May.
It's you know what
I'm saying? I've been doing my homework.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Right? How did that feel, man? First of all,
it's bizarre, man, to like get on stage and be like, yo, this song is 22 years old. It's like, God damn, really? I've been fucking rapping that long? Like, time went by that fast? I remember making that record, man. I remember me and Amp coming back from Atlanta, moving out to the Bay, and like living in my parents. He lived in the back room of my mom's house. Mm-hmm. He had a little sampler, and we was like working out shit. And then we moved to Oakland and just, working out the aesthetics of the record and trying to get on our first tour, trying to, working jobs, putting all our money into buying equipment. And now it's like, it's like a flash of light, man. It's crazy.
You didn't even realize 20 years passed.
Nah, we were so busy making music and living life and like, having children and doing shit. Then you look up and it's like, God damn, blood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an OG now for real. Like, it's not like
well, put it this way. We're not in Oakland, we're in Toronto. So you're in Toronto for a reason, and it's because somebody booked you for a show.
True.
So people are still booking you for shows 20 years later.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that means hip hop is a lovely thing.
It's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful. It's a struggle though.
It's definitely a struggle,
but it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful struggle.
Real talk.
Because the fact that you could still travel all these distances, you're not coming from the East Coast to up to Toronto. You're coming from the West Coast. That's a long fucking trip.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? But hip hop brought you here, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, it's the biggest blessing, man, in my life, man. Like it's given me, hip hop has definitely giving me purpose and meaning in my life.
Yeah.
And it's real dope. Like I told you off air that I got 3 sons, and it's like, it's so dope introducing them to the culture. Like just bringing them to like B-boy ciphers, or like one time I played them the Fat Boys on Spotify, and they were tripping off that shit.
Yeah.
It was like,
I didn't even know
What's
the
he
Fat Boys were
doing?
on Spotify.
oh man, they got me everything's on. But just like introducing them to the art, and then they find stuff and they like, Dad, I like this song, and I watch it and I'm like, that's dope. It's like some young 17-year-old kid doing a dance to jaywalk or some shit in LA, and he got his little dance, he rapping. I'm like, that's dope. That reminds me of me when I was a kid. And they like, for real? And I'm like, yeah. And it's dope to see the lineage, man. Like the ancestors are moving. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we're with them and they're with us.
Yeah.
And it's so dope to pass it down.
Yeah. If you that's the water for you if you want it. Right. Do they put you on to game?
My kids?
Yeah, like, yo, check out this new rapper.
Not yet. A little bit though. Actually, I'm not gonna front. They put me on the Juice World.
R.I.P. Juice WRLD. Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace. They put me on because I was like, I didn't know who he was. I never heard of dude. And then we were watching the Spider-Man movie over and over again. And then they kept getting to the scene where his song came on, and they was like, put it back, Dad, turn it back. And I put it back, and I was like, listen, I was like, that shit's kind of dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they was like, Dad, I want to get it on my Spotify. They got a long ass playlist on Spotify. So I went and found it, and then we found a couple other songs by him, and I was like, damn, dude is dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So even like mentioning guys like Juice WRLD and stuff, right? You hear with him, he does like he did the auto-tune stuff, but then like he would go to Flex in different places and rap for like 15 minutes, just freestyle off the head.
Okay.
So that's how I got onto him. And I know there's a few other guys out there who can rap. Like, are there anybody of the new guys that you're onto who are doing any of the two?
Fuck, I'm trying to think of new guys, man. You was telling me new guys I hadn't even heard of, man. So I feel like I'm redundant talking about some new guys, man. Like, I couldn't even. Nobody I would say is gonna be new to you.
So when you're making music, what inspires you to get into like making a song now?
I mean, to be completely transparent, man, like I'm going through this custody battle with my ex and my kids. So like, it's been hard for me to get in the lab because, yo, it motherfucker been fighting depression and sadness and just like feeling broke down. And if you know my music is coming from a real spiritual, reflective place.
Damn, everything is wonderful, reciting concepts. Think back, be cool, get some act right.
So like now at this point, I just became aware that like, bro, you gotta use this music to work through the shit.
Yeah.
Like you gotta work through the pain, and every day ain't a happy day. Every song ain't gonna be, kumbaya and all this. So it's really me right now learning how to like channel that shadow energy into the music and like be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, most of my career, it wasn't really. I mean, you hear some tough things and stuff, but it's always at the end, there's like a positive answer. At least that was my intention making music. And now it's like, I really don't have an answer. I'm kind of just holding it together, you know what I'm saying, to be real.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like really being honest with my life and what I see around me.
Yeah.
And just like putting it in the music and letting it be what it is.
Who do you see in the crowds like when you do shows and stuff like that? Like not even just like in Canada, but like other places when you're traveling around.
I mean, I see all kind of faces, man. I see like, it's interesting when I see youngsters who are vibing because up until maybe like 2013, 12, there was always youngsters in the crowd.
Yeah.
But around that 13, 14, something, there's a shift, and like I feel like the crowd got older. Whereas back before, it was always 18 to 25s coming in. But around that time, I don't know if the music shifted. I think the trap kind of came in and like shifted the vibe a little bit. But so now when I see youngsters vibing and getting super hype, I'm like, all right, that's dope.
Well, they've heard your song. Sorry to interrupt you. They've heard your music because like I see the streams, like songs like Coasting.
In the sky, I feel so divine, giving thanks I'm alive, because we came a long way since our days in the A.
Have millions of streams on Spotify, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? True. So there's a point of reference. They can find you now.
True.
So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. And like, doing cross shit with like Bass Nectar and rocking with like Revolution, which is like Revolution's reggae, Bass Nectar's like EDM. That brings in like different audience references, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's dope. But I see a lot of different people, man. I see there's a lot of white folks, as always. There's always that. I see like a lot of like seekers, like spiritual seeker type people, like yoga motherfuckers, or people who meditate, or on like this holistic eating type. Those type of people gravitate to my shit too.
Yeah.
And then mad different people of color, but it's not really for a point in my career around like 2005 with True and Living, and we did Don't Lose Your Head with Too Short and all that. I feel like the street opened up a little bit to us, but like that kind of like closed back up.
Okay.
A little something, yeah.
Yeah. What do you like about this hip hop game now, and what's one of the things that you dislike or hate?
That's a good question. I think I like the fact that it's easier to make. Like back in the day when I was in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, you had to rent the studio, you had to get the fucking 2-inch tape. You had to do all this old school ass shit.
Yeah.
Now it's old school. Back then it was just like, it's a big ass tape, like 15 minutes tape, like $135.
Or when we switched to ADAS, it was like
ADAS. Yeah, we had 3 ADAS in our old studio, all that. But that's what I like about it. The technology has made it easier. You know what I'm saying? I could carry my laptop and drop a verse or whatever, and somebody can email me a beat, and it's, you know what I'm saying, we can just put it together like that. What I don't like is that I feel like the nature of like it's like microwave shit. It makes it so accessible and so easy to do that it kind of dumbs out and waters down the essence of what this culture is, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, regardless of what anybody say, bro, this is black empowerment, man. That's what hip hop did, and that's what it is at its root. Not just black folks, but like people of color, people disenfranchised, people, poor people. You know what I'm saying? It's upliftment for us. And so the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you still see people coming up and getting money and all that, and that's great. But I feel like the essence of like holding each other and being like, bro, I feel you over there. You in New York, I'm in Toronto. You in Oakland. You in, you know what I'm saying, LA. Whatever. I feel you, and like holding each other and lifting each other up. Like, we need to get back to that, man. This shit ain't getting it's not getting no sweeter for us out here. It ain't. You know what I'm saying? The shit is diabolical. And the older I get, the more I see it, and the more clearly I can decipher what's going on and how they set up these systems and how it continually leads us in the same fucking direction. And now I feel like there's an aspect of hip hop that it's like, you know, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, he says hip hop has been weaponized against the youth. And in a lot of ways, I see what the fuck he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? All our young rappers, they ODing, they getting knocked, they getting thrown in jail over in the Kodak Black. Like, cats is dying, OD, going to jail, shooting motherfuckers. Like, that's always been there, right? But like, to emphasize that as like, that's the fly shit, it ain't.
And even to add on to that, when they publicize it in the news, they always put rapper so-and-so, rapper so-and-so.
Off top.
Right? So it just makes it like, oh, fuck, all the rappers are wildin'.
And they get the picture, but anytime somebody else does something, you don't even see no picture. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's set up like that on purpose. And I'm just like, I just don't want us to continue to keep falling into the trap, because like, it's the same shit with like Oprah and Gayle King, whatever, with Kobe. It's like how everybody got on him like, yo, why are you disrespecting this man and he's in the grave? But they'll pay you to do that. They'll pay you to like make other black folk look bad or lead black folk astray. You'll get a check for that. But to uplift, I mean, it's harder work. You know what I'm saying? And it's more difficult. You don't get no Rhyme Fest ain't getting props because he's in Chicago in the hood working with kids every day.
This is true.
Nobody's talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So
it's harder to pick up traction.
You feel me? Nobody's talking about Mos Def when he's doing all these political actions and being an activist. Nobody's saying nothing. You feel me? So that's the part of the culture I look at like critically. Like, I feel like, man, we just need to maintain that line. If we can ride that, the good and bad is always going to be there. But if we can be conscientious about taking care of one another, that's important to me.
Sinai.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. Okay. I want to get one more question in. Okay, because you're an OG in this game.
All right.
Right. And I feel like part of the question I'm asking you, I feel like it's kind of answered in my own brain.
Okay.
But I feel like there was a time and space where there was ageism going on in hip hop. Right. Do you feel that hip hop has an ageism thing going on? Do you feel it's a young man's sport, or do you feel like it's anything that anybody can get at?
I feel like it's anything anybody can get at. it's jazz at this point. On a deeper level. But on the surface, I definitely saw the ageism thing for a brief second.
Yeah.
Because when I came up, it was always, even when we was youngsters, it was always like, respect the architect. Like, it's Rakim. Respect the architect as I begin to build. So we said the architect, that's the OGs who built this shit.
Yeah.
So we always got to respect them.
Yeah,
like, that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
all the OG graffiti writers, breakers, DJs, we just looked up to them. Period.
KRS-One, everybody.
I mean, I grew up on them. I looked, what the fuck? So looking at them was like, that was the foundation. And I remember when somebody came out, I'm not even gonna say no names, but they was like, man, fuck these old heads, man. We doing this new and I was like, well, that was the first time I seen that in the because bruh, when I talk about the ancestors, I mean, like, it's literal to me. Like, we talking about a continuum. Like, I don't exist if they don't exist, and you don't exist if I don't exist. Yeah. It's a continuum. It's not me, you. It's not a straight line. It's a circle. Yeah. So when they did that, I was like, bro, you breaking the circle of what the fuck is going on. Yeah. Like, we inherited this hip hop shit. This is from our ancestors, man. Yeah. We didn't just make this shit up. This shit don't. I mean, yeah, it started in New York, but it's way before New York. This shit been around. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. The griot, the poet, the drums, like, this shit is part of who we are.
It's our African lineage.
It's our DNA.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're just expressing what the ancestors gave us, and so to honor the older ones is natural. It's implicit. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, it worried me because for one, I'm getting older, but two, I was like, what the fuck? You fucking up the culture, bro. Yeah, yeah. And that's around the time when I saw like the crowd kind of divide too. So it was really like, and maybe I was thinking about it too much, and I made I don't know, manifestation and all that. Yeah. But at this point, I think it's, if you cracking and you out there doing it and you putting in the work and your shit is dope, it don't really matter, man. And you got to really speak from your heart, because people, I mean, there's too much media out there, man. There's too much to cipher through. So when people see something genuine and authentic, they naturally gravitate towards it because your shit is real in a sea of fake shit. Yeah. So it's always gonna stand out and be in, like, like cats like Kendrick or J. Cole. Yeah. Like Joey Badass. These are the cats I fuck with when I listen to it, because I'm like, or like, I heard a shit by who was it? West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher.
Yeah. That's my
Brains on the Basquiat. I heard that shit. I was like, yeah, it's dirty. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard
and it's popping. Everybody's on it.
And it's dark as fuck. It ain't even no shit I would create, but it's still like, I feel the energy of it. Yeah. And that shit is raw. And like, when I see that, I'm like, yeah, that it's okay, man. Like, the culture's still here. We still doing it. Just got to be more active though. That's the part of it, because it moves so fast with the internet, man. Like, back in the day, you could kick it, make an album, take 2 years to make an album, tour for 2-3 years, come back with another album, and your shit's still going like this. Yeah. Now you don't make an album, like 6 months later, you don't drop nothing. Motherfuckers is like,
when's your new shit? Yo, fam, I just dropped last week.
Yeah, no, literally though.
Yeah.
Like, I put a release out one time, and the motherfucker like 2 weeks later was like, yo, when's the new record dropping? I'm like, bruh, I just dropped that shit 2 weeks ago. Yeah. He's like, I know. I want to hear some new shit. I was like, all right, bro. Like, but that's what it is now. Yeah. And that's the work ethic. And that's why I think as folks get older, like E40 does a great job of being on it. He's on the wheel. Like, he don't ever stop making shit. Yeah. But I think that's what it takes in this new environment, is like, you just got to be active, consistent, and keep on it.
Yeah. Yo, man, I really appreciate this, man.
Thanks for having us, bro.
It's like, I love having conversations like this, because I get to pick the brain of the people who have seen a lot more things. You know what I mean? I respect interviewing like a lot of the up and coming rappers that we do. Yeah. But I always like having interviews with people who have seen a lot, because we can get a lot more and learn about a lot more in the game. And I feel like you dropped a lot of jewels here today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I hope so, bro. Last thing I'm gonna say, man, I just want the youngsters, man, like, the war is not with us. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep, it's too easy, bro. They want you to fight against ourselves. Yeah. Like, they cultivate that. It's a program. Yeah. You feel me? That's the main thing that I want folks to, like you were saying about the drill and all, like the Brooklyn drill, and it's like funking with each other. Like, that's easy, bro. Yeah. Look at COINTELPRO. Watch the fucking Malcolm X documentary on Netflix. Yeah. They pay you to do that shit, man. Yeah. Have you seen this shit, Spies in Mississippi?
No, I haven't.
It's basically the same as Malcolm X, where there was this church in like, I think it was in Alabama.
Okay.
Or it was Mississippi. And it was like the center of like the social justice, you know, civil rights at that moment.
Okay.
And they were setting up all this dope shit. People were getting active in the streets. And they basically, to just jump to the end of it, they basically, the dude who had the church where they all met, they had this church, they meet in the basement. The dude who ran the church is the one that was the fucking mole, working for the FBI.
Wow.
They paid him hella bread. They was chipping him off every week or once a month, paying him, cashing him out.
Long game.
And they were like, they knew the people in the who were doing the protest. They were like, yo, somebody's doing this shit.
Yeah.
We gotta find out. And it was the motherfucking guy who was like the pillar of the community. But that's what I'm saying. They will pay you to do that.
Yeah.
So don't get fooled like, oh, I'm so dope. I'm doing this shit. But guess who's the unseen hand moving your ass forward?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's somebody really pulling the strings.
If your community ain't fucking with you, and you causing more undesirable shit in the street, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. We want to be able to talk about you later in life. 50 years down the road, like, yo, that motherfucker was a stand-up G.
Yeah.
Like, he did shit for us, all of us. Like Nipsey. You feel what I'm saying? Look what they did to him. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
but at least he had time to do a whole bunch of
He did
things.
shit.
He could have done a lot more if he had more time to live, obviously.
Yeah.
But
And
in
they
that
knew that.
space of time, he got a lot done.
He got a lot done, and they knew that. And they knew what they was doing.
So there was an example that people can see, yo, this is what we can do for our community.
You feel what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
like, yo, we need that, man. And like, we can't forget that with this hip-hop shit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yo, I really appreciate you coming through. You know what I'm saying?
Respect, man.
Bobby Zumbi in the motherfucking building.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm
Zion
saying?
Crew.
Zion Crew.
That's it.
Yo, have a good show tonight.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it, man.
Big up to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.